Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Welcome to another episode of The Wave Talk. I am your host, Just Michelle. That's _ Just Michelle on Instagram. And we've got a great show in store for you all. I've got a very special guest. I won't tell you who it is just yet. But I'm trying to do something a little bit different. You know, typically with these shows that you see locally, a lot of the people are just musicians. We're still in the same realm, but it's a little bit different. But yeah, let's start us off. How is everybody this week? How's everybody's week been going?
All right.
One of them. I feel you on that. I feel you, and it's only such and such day. We're posting this on Sunday, so you know, whatever. But yeah, the week's been okay for me. I've been trying to get some financial things in order. I feel like it's best to get your ducks in a row, you know, before you end the year. So yeah, I've just been trying to get that done. But it's been positive vibes. I'm excited for the holiday season. You know, I'm ready to go look at some lights and, you know, just be of good cheer. You know, maybe I should look for some, I don't know, volunteer opportunities, kind of spread my essence around everybody. I don't know, just want to, you know, make everybody else feel happy and cheerful around this time. But before I get into my topics, I wanted to do a few shout outs. I wanted to give a huge shout out to Pax and Kyla. They made me this very special, beautiful cup. It is one of a kind, super loped out, if you know, you know. Yeah, I also want to give a huge shout out to Life Media, of course, production. They definitely are the key to this show. So yeah, let's get started. Up first, I kind of wanted to talk about some new music from the week. Usually, you know, all the music comes out on Friday, and I'm a huge music head. So, like my top picks so far, and this is mainstream. But my top picks so far are Adele 30. Y'all, the Adele album was just so special. I think My Little Love might be my favorite song on the album. Y'all definitely have to tune in. French Montana is next. They Got Amnesia. I don't know. French Montana, he's kind of funny to me. He can give you a banger, but he's like one of them people like Ty Dolla $ign. If it's featuring Ty Dolla $ign, then I'm all for it. But if it's Ty Dolla $ign featuring somebody else, I'm like, argh. But tap into French Montana. And then if you are a holiday head like I am, Bryson Tiller dropped a new album called A Different Christmas. He's got Justin Bieber on there. He's got one other artist who I really like, but I can't remember it right now. But if you like holiday music, you should definitely check it out because it was a really good album. He's got like some original songs on there, so tap in. All right, up next, we're going to talk about upcoming local events. And up first, we've got the People's Choice Awards coming up November the 28th. I think the concept of the People's Choice Awards is super unique. It's a chance to highlight whoever's doing anything locally, whether it's favorite producer, favorite travel agent. Shout out to New Wave Travel Services. I was definitely nominated. I have a travel agency. But yeah, tons of your favorite people have been nominated. So go out, show your support November the 28th. Up next, we've got the second annual night shift, which is also November the 28th. My home gal, KO, is doing a super intimate show where she gives us covers of her original music and of other people's music. And if you've never been, this is definitely a delight. You should definitely tap in. And then the last thing, I'm going to be talking about this a lot because it's my event. December the 19th, I'm having my very first fashion show. I'm super excited. I've been working really hard all year. So tickets are on sale right now. Link is in my bio for my Instagram page at NXWINC. Get you a ticket. They're super limited. I won't be adding any more, so don't sleep. Up next, I wanted to talk about the Drake and Kanye beef. It was squashed. I felt like it was forced. I felt like it was not mutual on Kanye's end because he had to read from his phone. You know, I was like, why do you have a whole monologue to read from your cell phone? I felt like Drake was just like indifferent. He was like, yeah, it is what it is. I'll forgive you. We'll be bygones. But I don't know. I'm excited. I got some really good tickets to the show. I had to. I didn't care what was happening. I don't care if it's work. I don't care if it's jury duty. I don't care. I am not missing an opportunity to see Drake. Kanye is there, cool, whatever, but y'all already know how I am. So shout out to the free Larry Hoover benefit concert. I think it's going to be very special. I'll probably do like a little vlog so y'all can see my experience because I definitely have to do a lot of trucking and moving to get there, but it's going to be fun. I'm excited for a new adventure. Oh, this one's good, y'all. Okay. I have some males in the room, so I'm interested to see what y'all have to say. So it was a post on Shade Room, and it stated, it was a tweet, and it said, a man knows within 4 months whether or not he wants to marry a woman. It doesn't take him X amount of years. 4 months?
No, everybody is different. Every situation is different.
I thought so too. I was like, 4 months, that's literally no time to know somebody.
Of course, you gotta think about it. That's only according to people that even want to get married.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
and
what
I'm
man
like,
are they talking about?
and like that's what I'm trying to figure out. I've never heard that from a man ever. Within 4 months, I knew. But then I was listening to The Breakfast Club, and DJ Envy was like, "Oh yeah, I immediately knew."
Yeah, so some people know sooner than that.
I mean,
Some people do.
You say the qualities off top, like the quality that you're looking for, but then there's other things that you're not looking for that you gotta find out over time that you know what I'm saying.
Man,
You gotta figure out
relationships is layers, man. It's,
Right.
After years and years, we still continue to learn and to grow.
That's so true.
That's
The
how
person
some
has to
people
unfold.
grow closer together. Some people grow in separate ways, and that's not even saying that to put another one down. It's just that I'm going this way, you're going that way.
Right.
We grow apart, but it's just like I say, it can happen either way. Some people become even closer and closer as the years go by. You never know.
And that's coming from a married man, guys. So, you know, he said that he didn't feel like that was realistic. The other male in the room said that he also didn't feel like that was realistic. But I don't know. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. I just feel like that was super controversial because it was almost as if they were trying to make people who have been in like long-term relationships or just a relationship over 4 months, make them kind of feel away like, oh, bitch, if he ain't proposed to you, you're just not it. You know, and I don't necessarily feel like that's the case. But yeah, those are my topics for today. Up next, I get to introduce my guest. I met him, maybe, was it last year? Sheesh, it feels like longer than that, but it was last year. We'll just go ahead and introduce him. Everybody, welcome Xavier. Welcome. Welcome. Now, I wanted to keep it vague before I brought you on officially. I don't know. Where do you want to start? Because you've got multiple hats.
Yeah. Sure, I'm a manager, family man, all the above. I mean, wherever you want to start.
So let's start with where are you from? Now, I know where you're from, but for my guests or my audience members who don't know, where are you from?
Born and raised here, Oklahoma City, east side and north side to be exact.
405.
Yeah.
405. Now, I remember we had a conversation. I can't remember if it was earlier this year, maybe last year. And you were telling me that you were also once an artist yourself. And kind of tell me when you started diving into music.
I did music pretty much my whole life. I think like as early as 4, I remember performing.
4.
But like as far as rapping, that was like around 15.
Mm-hmm.
Cause before then I was singing. I thought I was an R&B artist, but I was wrong on so many levels.
Oh, I was about to say, let me hear something.
So wrong on so many levels. But then I started rapping at 15, and then stopped doing it probably like around 29, 30.
Now, you mentioned that you are a manager. When did you know it was time for you to switch your trajectory as far as being an artist and tapping more into being a manager?
I really can't pinpoint like the exact time. It was just a point in time where like, with this music shit, it comes a certain like fame that I ain't really too comfortable with. Like I don't really like, I mean, even though I'm doing this interview, I don't really want to be on the cameras. I don't want to be on the forefront. Like, I'd rather just be behind the scenes, getting the money and just, helping other artists.
I feel you. Now, I don't think a lot of artists realize how important it is to have a manager. Kind of go into depth of the importances, not only having the right manager, but having one in general. Because I know there are several independent artists. Kind of give us like the pros of having one, if you will.
The pros to having one is you just being able to really focus on the art and just making the music. There's a lot of shit behind the scenes you got to do as far as business-wise that got to be taken care of. And it just helps take some of the stress off your shoulders of having to do that day to day. That way you can just really focus on the music and giving it your all. Okay.
And you kind of, I'm not going to say it was a jab, but you kind of threw in like having the right manager.
Right.
Have you seen any instances to where people don't have somebody necessarily like in their corner?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, a manager, he don't get paid unless the artists get paid. So sometimes you'll get a lot of managers that move so that they can get paid, you know what I'm saying, without having the artist in mind, you know what I mean? Which that's,
right.
Like if it jeopardizes the brand, if it jeopardizes what the artist got going on, you don't want to lean towards that. But some managers will just because they know they're trying to get their percentage of what's going on.
That's very important you mentioned that. So for any artists out there who are, thinking to get to get a management or a manager, make sure they are in your corner because you will run into some people who just need the money. And I felt like we can kind of see that even with like mainstream artists to where their business just is not being handled. Right. And that's such a tragedy, if you will, giving somebody your all, trusting everything that you have with them only to see it flop.
Exactly.
So I think that's very important that you mentioned that. Now kind of tell us about your management company, Black or the Berry.
Excuse me.
You're okay.
That's the weed. So Black or the Berry is founded here in Oklahoma. Pretty much what we do is we take artists, public figures, and we're trying to move on to sports, but that's way down the line. And pretty much just get up under their umbrella and help them do what they have to do with their brands. We try to take other managers and have them assigned to other artists and kind of like just assess it that way. I'm hands-on with all the artists under the brand, but of course, like there are managers that just work directly with that artist.
Okay. Currently, how many managers do you have on your team?
Right now, one. Shout out to Trail.
Shout out to Trail.
There's been a few that have come and fell off, but like to do this, like you really have to be dedicated to it and want to give it your all. So Trail's been somebody that I've been working with for a cool minute, just trying to help him do what he want to do because he's real passionate about helping his brother Trip. So yeah.
I think that's really important to be able to find somebody who is able to think not only of their self, but also put themselves in a position to where they want to see someone else win.
Exactly.
I think it's more than admirable, but it's definitely needed because several people don't realize that maybe your best position isn't being in the main focus, maybe your best position is helping somebody else get to where they need to be. So I think that it was very important for us to highlight what you do in the industry because I don't know too many of the people who do this.
Right. And Trey, he definitely don't like the limelight, as you know. So
that's a fact.
They remind me of like Nipsey Hussle and Black Sam combo, you know what I mean? So he was somebody that I definitely found as an asset to the company. And we're looking to grow. We got another manager that we're bringing on board, probably top of the year, and some more artists. So just be looking out for that. Okay. Currently, how many artists are on the dock?
3.
So 3 that we got locked in. So you got KO, Chris Savage, and Trip G, of course.
Okay. We love to see it. And I can honestly say that because I work with Trip G, as y'all know, I can honestly say that with him having somebody else to help him and Trill, you can definitely kind of see like the direction into where things are going as far as like a fine line, because you can come in with a different perspective that we wouldn't see as a team. And I feel like that is just so important. Kind of give us what your idea of, or I'm sorry, what your idea is for people who feel like they can just do it on their own.
To an extent, you can do it on your own. Like a lot of people think starting off, you have to have a manager out the gate, which is not the case. There's a lot of things that you can do on your own. It's really when you get to the point to where like your phone is ringing off the hook and you just got so many people pulling you left to right to where you really feel like you need that help. That's when you bring a manager on board. And then at the end of the day, you don't really want to go seeking a manager. If you out here doing what you're supposed to do, a manager gonna find you. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's there's a lot of things you can do independently, just doing it by yourself. But you don't necessarily need a manager at the beginning stages, to be honest with you.
I like what you said. A manager will end up finding you. How can you pinpoint a specific person who would need a management or a manager? I'm sorry.
Like if I see somebody performing and I think they raw, like I'll do my homework on them and see what they got going on. If I feel like there's something I can bring to the table, then I will. If I feel like they got a little more growing that they need to do by themselves, then I kind of fall back and just, let them continue doing what they're doing by themselves.
Okay. Now, as a manager, I'm not going to say dictate because that might have like a negative connotation, but do you make it to where your artists can only work with specific people, or do you kind of let them have free range about that?
No, at the end of the day, I work with the artists. Like nothing I do on the creative side, I have anything to do with that. Like they tell me what to do and they tell me where to go, and I make sure I press the buttons and make it happen. I give my input if they ask for it. A lot of times I give it when they don't ask for it, and if they take it, they do. If they don't, they don't. But it's a team at the end of the day, and when you got so many people that's on one accord and going for one agenda, then it works out.
What would you say the difference in having a manager starting out and going upwards versus getting a manager while you're already up? Because I feel like some people are already big and then they'll try and get like someone who is not of the same culture, if you will.
I think it's just having the knowledge. Whenever you are a bigger artist, you kind of want to get a manager that's been there longer, probably has a bigger client base that's done this a little bit more as compared to somebody like myself who's just getting started, don't really got the connection. And because in this game you learn as you go.
Right.
So if you've been in it for a while and you've been managing other artists, then you're ahead of the game. So that's the only thing I can think of why.
And I also think that it was important because you've also been in the game as well prior to doing this. So you've been able to see certain things that other people haven't seen.
Exactly. I compare it to like a basketball coach that played, that hooped, and then he just retired and wanted to go coach. You know what I mean? Because I was there. I remember when I wanted help, or like because now the city getting bigger and like we getting more popular as far as music, but there was a time where like motherfuckers weren't looking at us.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we couldn't get help nowhere. And I was just like, damn, bro, if I could just get like 2 of y'all motherfuckers gonna help me hang up a poster, we'd be good. You know what I mean? So I'm really one of the managers that get out there hands on, hang up posters, pass out flyers, and just make sure we do that groundwork. And
I love that you brought up the subject of groundwork and being hands-on. We had kind of talked about it in our other episode, like the importance of having a team. It's just so important to have other hands involved. Of course, people with true intentions, but like you said, if you could just have 2 people to help.
Right.
And why do you think it's so difficult for people to build a team?
I think it's just, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Everybody want to be the leader, which is understandable in your own right, but in order to lead, you gotta first learn to follow. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't think people just want to be that follower. Everybody want to be the leader. That's all it is.
From the audience, I love that.
And I've been there. I mean, I've been the follower, so that's how I know how to lead. Like, I've been there I came in the game with Chris the God MC Kane. So, for a long time I was his protege. Shout out to my nigga Chris. So a long time I was his protege, and you know I know what it means to put in that groundwork and that footwork. So now I can lead.
And I even feel like that's a good statement, even like in regards to entrepreneurship.
Right.
Everybody can't own a business.
Nah.
You know, every business at some point, somebody got to be the employee. Somebody has to be the
Right.
employee.
And I don't mind it at all.
You know, and like, oh, it sound good. I got my own business. That. And then you get to moving in, and you're like, well, this ain't what I thought it was. I'm gonna have to take a seat back. And I feel like, I don't know, it's a difficult process to kind of let people figure it out on their own versus you kind of like stepping in and like, maybe you should take a seat back. Was there ever anybody in your life who was like, maybe you should switch directions?
My family growing up, they didn't really understand like the whole pursuing the music thing. Like you get those, have you made it yet? Why you ain't made it yet? And it's kind of hard to explain. They don't really understand, but you just got to keep going. But I don't let that deter me. Like, you just got to keep going. Whatever your goals are, just keep pushing.
I really love that.
What you tell me, you can tell me to switch. I'm not going to switch. Like, if this is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to work no 9 to 5, but I want to get paid for something I'm passionate about.
I feel you.
So this is what I'm passionate about, so this is what I'm doing.
I figure that's very smart. You said it don't matter what you tell me. If you know in your chest, if you know in your heart, this is where you're supposed to be. But it's like sometimes, I don't know, I be feeling, some people be feeling it too deep and it just ain't it.
That's because we live in a world where like people see like the glitz and the glamour. They see the, you know what I'm saying, the end results, like the vacations and all that, but they don't see the hard work you put in. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what it took for you to get off the ground and do what you gotta do.
That's a fact. I even had somebody ask me, like in terms of my clothing line, shout out to New Wave, but he got it. But she, or whoever, they had asked, it was like, edit that. But somebody had asked me, how did you get on so quick? What did you do? Can you tell me who you met up with? Blah, blah, blah. How did you just move so quick? And I was like, I'm going on into my 4th year and I still haven't done anything worth talking about, in my opinion. So the fact that you're sitting from the outside and you're like, how did you move so quickly? What did I do? I don't know. I just find it funny because we had talked about that last episode too, this microwave generation or people just expecting to instantly pop.
Yeah.
It's not realistic.
Yeah.
Do you have those types of conversations with your artists about keeping things realistic, or are y'all like, sky's the limit, we could be there next year, or like how do you kind of have those types of conversations?
We had those conversations as far as budget wise, because a lot of artists fail to realize like how much it actually costs to be in this game and do it independently. So we do have to sit down and plot out and plan realistically what the budget allows. You know what I mean? So sometimes as an artist, you can have these visions and these dreams of being bigger than where you are because you want to be there, and you will be there eventually, but the budget is only going to allow us to do so much right now. You know what I mean?
Now, you mentioned budget. What are some ways that you could recommend for artists to get their guap up?
Man, shit, working 9 to 5.
Yeah.
That's one thing about KO. Like she working 9 to 5, and she ain't scared to let motherfuckers know it. But she gonna work a 9 to 5. She gonna get off, and then she gonna bust her ass and doing her music. And like when I tell you, you rarely see that. Like you don't see that all the time. And Tripp is somebody else that does that. And then with him having a daughter, like it's crazy. Like the way that they work. You know what I'm saying? They work ethic is crazy. My nigga Chris, he got everybody that I know that's doing this music shit, that's successful at it, has a job. So like you just can't be scared to go out here and get a 9 to 5 because they don't look cool.
I love to hear that because especially with the unemployment rates going around across America, and people are just not trying to get back into the 9 to 5. But I feel it.
But at the same time, if you in the streets, and you doing what you doing, like I can't tell them not to do that because I understand, because I've been there. But take that money and invest it. Like you gotta take that money and put it into the studio. Take that money into marketing and promotion. Like use that money wisely so you can get the fuck up out of there. Right.
That is so smart because I know several people who just they be having bread. It's just not invested wise and they'll lose it just like that. Ain't got nothing to show for it. And like I was saying, like in regards to the unemployment, like I feel it because I also don't want to have to work forever. but it's still necessary.
Do what you gotta do right now.
You know,
can do what you want to do later.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Okay, do what you gotta do right now so you can do what you want to do later. Zoom in on that, but not too close. But I wanted to tap into the fact, because you mentioned fatherhood, that's something you and Tripp both have in common. Kind of discuss being a father and a manager, wearing two separate hats. Are there similarities that you notice, or do you try to keep them separate?
The best similarity I can see is just learning patience and just being patient.
Patience.
Yeah, just being patient and just understanding like timing is everything. And I'm a man of God, so I do believe everything works in God's timing. So just being patient.
Patience is huge. That's something that a lot of us, even myself, we all lack in a sense, because whenever we want something, we want it our way right now, immediately. And that's just not the way that things work, even if you're spoiled. Even if you're spoiled. It's very tough, but I think that finding patience and also empathy, if you will, being able to see it from somebody else's point of view, because that's not always so easy. Because if you're taking anything, I don't know how your parents were, but if I were to take everything that I was exposed to, you know, from my parents and try to implement it onto a child, I wouldn't necessarily agree. Are there things that you try to do differently than what you've experienced yourself?
Yeah. Growing up, I wasn't spoiled, but I don't think it was by choice. I just think it was more so like my mom, she was raising 5 kids by herself, so there wasn't no room to spoil me. So while I have the means, I spoil my kids. So that would be the biggest difference. But they're good kids, so they deserve it.
That's important. A lot of people be spoiling their children. They don't be that good.
Yeah.
Make them rotten.
Yeah.
But that's
I don't even know if you
okay.
would call it spoiling. I mean, I guess just, trying to introduce them to a different lifestyle than what I came up from. You know what I mean? If you got the means to do it, do it.
I agree. And I like that you said I don't even call it spoiled, because spoiled does have like a negative connotation. It comes with like negative thoughts behind it, but it's, I don't know if we should say like giving them what they deserve or giving it. It's a difference.
It's really like privilege, because we're supposed to have privileges in life.
We are.
And that's not spoiled, you know?
Right.
This is what you're supposed to be. This is how regular people so-called are living.
Exactly.
I agree.
We grew up with disadvantages, you know what I'm saying? So it's
like my son, he's 12.
How we was raised.
My son 12, and he got an iPhone 12.
Mm.
I mean, not actually 13, just turned 13 the other day. But back in the day, I couldn't even get a pager from my mom. I was like, Mom, just let me get a pager. Nah,
At all.
I ain't getting no pager.
You got to buy your own.
Yeah, and this was back when niggas had cell phones. I just wanted the pager. You know what I mean? So, shout out to Mom, though.
That's so true though, because my nephew, he has an iPad. He's 6. I'm like, sheesh.
They not spoiled. They just.
It's of the times.
Yeah.
It's of the times, and I come into contact with so many people who try to fight it versus just going with the wave. Because as much as you try and fight that, your child is growing up in a different environment than you did. And you don't want your child to be the only one who doesn't know how to work a tablet.
Exactly.
We all using tablets in class. What do you mean you can't use a tablet?
Yeah, my school didn't use them, but my kids' school do, so.
You know what I'm saying?
Different times.
And I feel like, I'm not gonna say it's difficult, but it's very important for people to want to acclimate to the times.
Right.
Because if not, you may do the people who you're in contact with a disservice, whether it's your child or an artist or yourself. Exactly. Because you're being closed-minded.
Right. And this game is always changing.
Always changing forever, and you have to be able to go with the times. That is just so important, guys. Please go with the times. Now, I feel like we've had a great conversation.
Yeah.
I don't want to hold you up too
No, I
long.
love it. I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you for joining. This is really important to me because, like I was telling my cousin earlier, I wanted to show people a different side to the music industry. Not even just music, entertainment as well. And you mentioned that you've got some things coming down the line, you know, in the future. Shit, maybe you can manage New Wave. I don't know. If you ever have a clothesline on your team, shout out. But Thank you. But go ahead and let people know where to follow you and any upcoming events that you've got going on.
So y'all can follow me on social media, Xavier Martin 405 on everything on there. Be looking out for KO new project coming out soon. I can't get out the title of it, but that's coming. Chris Savage, his new project is coming. No Pressure from Trip G, that's on the way.
Right.
So I just be on the lookout.
Also, give us the information for Blacker the Berry for anybody who's interested in getting some management, because
Sure.
you probably need it out there more than you know it.
And right now we also starting where we do some consultations. So if anybody, because we can't manage everybody and be hands-on, but we can definitely sit with you and try to help you plan out the next 6 months to a year and try to help you get some goals on the table. But it's Blacker the Berry 405, all social media, and that's even the email, blackertheberry405@gmail.com.
Nah, I love that, guys. And if you've been following any of the artists who he's mentioned, you'll know that there is true, richness in his recipe. I don't know what it is, but having a manager is so essential, even with KO's progression, because I met her before I met Trip, and she was the first artist to ever hit me up, and she wanted to wear my clothes on her video. But just seeing her from then into now, it's amazing, especially with like that Off the Porch interview. I was like, come on. And then y'all was in Atlanta just recently, so I'm very proud of you guys. You guys are doing an amazing job. I'm excited to see the company grow.
Sure.
Hopefully I can get in where I fit in, I want to be a part of the story too.
Man, you heard, you locked in.
I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much, Xavier, for joining me, and thank you.
Pleasure all mine.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. A huge shout out to my guest, Xavier Martin of Blacker the Berry Management. I truly enjoyed our conversation. I just wanted to, again, let you guys see the importance of having somebody who is in your corner. That you may not necessarily know them, as much as you may know like a family member or a friend, but definitely try and seek out to find somebody who can assist you, somebody who has your best interest at heart. Now, I like to end all of my shows with a little quote, and I thought that this was perfect for the holiday season. We just had Thanksgiving, and we're also about to have Christmas coming up very soon. But it states, call it a clan, call it a network, call it a tribe, call it a family. Whatever you call it, whoever you are, you need one. And that's from Jane Howard. We kind of talked about it whenever I was speaking with Xavier, but there is so much importance of having a team, having family, having friends, people who have your back without a shadow of a doubt. Kind of just take this time in this season to rejoice in that, love on your people. We just lost Young Dolph. I hate that. That shit fucks me up. I hate to hear it. I hate to see it. But it just goes to show that we don't know what's happening. We never know. You can't count on it. So, I don't know, if you've been beefing with somebody, reach out. In that shit, it's not that deep, I promise. It's never that deep. It might be that deep, but if it's not that deep, go ahead and reach out to them and make your amends, because you don't want to go into 2022 already. Damn, time is moving fast, but you don't want to go into the next year on bad terms with somebody. It sits on your chest. It's doing you more of a disservice than it is the other person. And you don't know what they're going through either. So go ahead, reach out, tell your people you love them, and, just bring in the new year on good terms. But that was another episode of The Wave Talk. I appreciate y'all for watching. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at The Wave Talk Official, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Thank you guys. End.